So in our last video, we ended by talking about gravatars and people's images that move along the site with them. And you'll notice here, if you've been seeing me as I go into the dashboard with some regularity on the back end, that I also get to see the comments, the things that people are writing throughout the site. I'll get to see them here, and those get matched up with the same kind of gravatar. Also on this dashboard, you'll notice that I have the invitation code tracking. So in the case that I didn't actually use the feature over here in users to say add new users in bulk, if instead what I did was I allowed people to come register and I gave them the code, you'll notice this code is here, orange exclamation mark, that's the one I'd be giving out, and you'll notice I can monitor how many users have actually registered using that code. And of course I can create many different codes, right? I do that by coming down here and I come into this area for the registration section, and you'll notice here I have this code, orange, and I can of course create another and another after that. This is the same place where I can put my disclaimer text, my privacy policy, and even if I had a license agreement, I could do that as well. So there's a lot of stuff in here to highlight, which is all accessible when we start and step into our dashboard. But what I want to do is show you another part of the dashboard here, which is called Gravity Forms. Gravity Forms is a piece of software that we've put into the site that allows you to collect information. Now, a form is just a form. What makes Gravity Forms better than all the other form plugins and form code that's out there is how easy it is for you and your staff and Joy to come in and say, okay, let's make a form and make it, get it up and running quite easily. You'll also notice that in terms of metrics on the dashboard, it's telling us all the different forms we have and how many entries have come in, right? Now, what does this form look like? Well, let's go back out to the site. And when we do, we can come over to Survey of the Month. Now, you don't have to call it Survey of the Month. You can make it anything you want. This is simply an example of a survey. And so in the Survey of the Month, you'll notice this is a link in a menu, and we'll talk about menus in the next video, to a page. And on this page, it says, we'd like to hear from you. Here's our form. We have a question: how often do you meet with your volunteers as a group? And you have multiple choice options that you can pick from. And then it says, hey, this is an optional question, but what kind of training do you do? So you could collect this information and people would hit submit. When they hit submit, right, on your side over here, you would notice there were entries. And you could go and take a look at those entries. Now what I'm going to do is take a look at these forms. And when I go take a look at all my forms, which also opens up the forms section on the side here, you'll notice that I'm monitoring, or able to monitor, all the different views, how many different people entered, and what that means for conversion. So if 100 people have looked at it and only 2 people have filled it out, I have a pretty low conversion rate. I might want to go back and take a look at that form. But you'll notice here on the survey that I have the ability to edit the survey itself, which we'll jump into in just a second. But I also have the ability to review all the different entries right here from the GUI. I have the ability to duplicate or delete the form itself. And one of the things that's really nice is when I go into the entries, and in the case where I had a lot of entries, I also start having additional options from here. So we'll talk about that later, but for now, let's take a look at going in and editing this form. Now, when I talked about how easy this is, if you don't want this question to be first, you want it to be second, you'll notice I can just drag and drop the questions. It really is that simple. If I want to edit the text, I click edit, and upon clicking edit, I can edit the text here, I can edit the text there, I can add more options, I can write a description of help, I can determine if it's required, and I even have a whole bunch of additional information here on the admin side or the advanced side that you don't have to worry about right away, right? But this makes it really easy. I can do single line or paragraph. I can have them do a multiple choice or type in an actual number. I can give them checkboxes. I can write just HTML text on my form and break up my form into multiple sections, all of which is really, really easy to do using Gravity Forms. So this is one of the really great products out there that lets you do cool stuff. And of course, I'm going to end this video simply by telling you that one of the other things you can do is export all your content to